And here we fucking are, ain't it? Hey. Been a long time coming to do something of the sort. To give this a go. To record a podcast. I've actually done a couple back in the day with a good buddy of mine at a place called Joe's Inn in Richmond, Virginia. My buddy Jesse. Jesse, I won't say his last name. I don't know if he wants to be disclosed on the net. But goddamn, been listening to podcasts since 2011. What is that, 13 years? First one, the almighty Joe Rogan, when he streamed on Ustream. Well before many people even knew that he was doing anything of the sort. Loved it. Fell in love with it. Fell in love with the open form conversation, the concepts, the ideas, the things you get to hear about, learn about that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. And fucking, what is it, 2024? 13 years later, after the market has been well saturated by mostly garbage, I've mustered the courage to contribute to that Garbo, that hot Garbo, the Garbo world, the Garbo verse. And that's okay. I think it's okay anyway. These conversations have done quite a lot for me. So I think, maybe I could fucking say something that has an impact on something else or someone else. Also, there's a level of desperation. That is true and honest and should be discussed or disclosed. Working jobs you don't love fucking sucks. There's no way around it. There's many ways to rationalize it. Many ways to cope, manage it, do what you got to do to get through the day and make a living, support yourself. So you can have some free time, some semblance of autonomy and like free will to do things that you want to do. Jobs are necessary. But even though we got to be able to do that, it's very important to me to have some kind of control over something that you are doing yourself for the sake of doing it because you enjoy it. And if that turns into a stream of revenue somehow, sometime down the road, fucking sweet. Hopefully you can keep the genuity and the honesty a part of it that probably made it valuable in the first place. That doesn't always happen. We see that a lot in music, podcasts too, I'm sure. Movies, shows, all that shit. Anything creative can be perverted by money, corrupted by money. But you know what? It's like, I don't know what I would do in that position. It depends. I don't know what I'd do in that situation. You get thrown a lot of money to do something that's probably fun. That's probably I think a lot of people probably feel that level of desperation to like, holy shit, there is a way out. Maybe it's not exactly what I need or want, but it's an alternative path that doesn't require going into an office or going out to a job site and fucking slaving and hating it and working with people who don't care about you and don't understand you. And that fucking sucks. I've had quite a few gigs where it just feels like you are, your soul's getting sucked out of you. For whatever reason that is. Your soul's getting sucked out of you. It's not honest. It's not true to you. And there is a conundrum there too, because it's like, I don't think there's probably not a world where everything that we do is aligned or true to that which we love and enjoy and are inspired. There's just that part of this existence, part of reality is just fucking, it's just grindy. It's fucking grindy. It's not going to be fun. It's not all going to be sugar and rainbows and shit that you want it to be. And that's okay. For sure. That's a part of it. It's like there is a level of like grit and perseverance that is probably really helpful to learn how to go through things that suck and continue to push through and, you know, get through it, because everything's temporary. Nothing lasts forever. I think there's a lot of value in that skill, and there's not really a lot of things that train that before you end up in the workforce. Well, there's just not a lot of things that are like forced upon you to be able to train those skills. It's a lot of voluntary shit. Creative practice, like a physical discipline, things that are really fucking hard that you have to learn how to, you know, level set, get through, humble yourself, continue to learn. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, man. Working a job you don't love sucks. It's really fucking hard, and it can be really demoralizing and really just defeating to feel like that may be the only way. That might be the only option. What else can I do? And even if that's the case, even if that's true, and it may not be the worst case scenario to like have a trade that you're good at or have a skill that you're good at and be able to monetize it and, you know, have a fucking home that you own and that you control. That's cool. Have property, assets, whatever. Marry a woman that you love. Have a family. Like all those things. You need some level of it helps to have some level of stability to do those things. And I don't think that that's like losing. I think the older I get, the more I realize that that's not like losing. I think millennials, I was born in 92. If you got quick maths, you can probably figure out what age I am. There was still a lot of that happening. Like our parents had to do a lot of that, but there was a lot of this idea sold that you can be whatever you want to be. You should do, you know, you can be, sky's the limit. You can be whatever you want to be. You should go pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. And the reality is like, that's not fucking true. That doesn't work out for the vast majority of people. And if you find yourself in a position where it doesn't, that hurts. That fucking hurts. And you got to figure something out, man. Like you got to, and I don't think it's settling. It's like, do what is best for you. If you have a skill or something that you can do to add value and carve out a cool life for yourself that doesn't involve fame or fortune or any of that shit that we're sold that's supposed to be so cool and awesome and amazing and fix all your problems. I think the older I get, the more I respect that. The more I respect those people. And that being said, I think it's still valuable to like do something that is your own for the sake of doing it. Whether that's you love to play music, you love to stream video games, you love to fucking knit blouses, whatever it is, do that thing. 'Cause that's fucking cool. And it gives, I think, humans, gives us a sense of autonomy and like power, self-actualization. I think that's probably the most important thing, is that feeling of self actualization that you can get from committing to a practice, having some discipline, putting time into a thing, a craft. That term is cool, but it's fucking used a lot. A skill, an outlet that you love and you really enjoy. That's super cool. That's cool. I think that can alleviate a lot of the existential crisis that can come from feeling like you're stuck in a position that you don't love, or you're stuck in a job, or stuck in a relationship, or stuck in something. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. There's so many systems set up to make us feel kind of oppressed. And, you know, it's good to have some kind of thing that is uniquely yours to help balance out that other bullshit. I deeply believe in that. I like to play music. You can probably tell by the guitar is down there. The guitar is down that way. Love a good music. Love a good tune. Love a good note. Love a good this. That's what I like to do. But I've also really been a huge fan of podcasts for a long time. So I thought, why the fuck not start one of my own? Try one out. Try it out. Talking to a fucking microphone. Talking to the void. Talk to nobody. Probably. And you know what? It kind of feels good. It kind of feels good to give myself an outlet to just talk and say things, process thoughts and feelings about the world in a unstructured or unjudged medium. It feels pretty good. I feel like, honestly, like just doing this for what it is worth right now, nobody's fucking listening because it's not on anywhere yet. I'm just sitting here talking into my computer, a microphone. I got a webcam in front of me. I got a screen. I got the recording software on one side. I got my fucking Discord with my friends on the other one. Like, just talking into this it feels cool. This feels like something that I think I could get a lot of value out of. I feel like I have thought about that for a long time, and I've not acted on it for a long time because you think, oh, there's other people doing it. There's other people saying the things that need to be said. Wasn't in a place to be able to do that, like as an early adopter, if you will, in 2010, 2011, 2012, when I first discovered what these things were. And then by the time maybe I felt like I was able to actually say something of value, there's a billion of them. I think there's 5 million. I think there's 5 million odd podcasts now. And it's like, it's just so fucking saturated. It's, you could easily talk yourself out of not wanting to do one yourself because there's so many and it's diluted and it'll never amount to anything and nobody will ever listen and it'll never get anywhere. And then you won't ever make any money off of it and you'll never be able to support your life or you'll never be able to quit your job for your podcast. That's probably all true and that's fucking cool. That's fine. Whatever. That's probably true. One of my favorite jokes I think I've ever heard in the past decade. This is like probably 2014, 2015 joke. 2016 maybe when they started to get real popular. The same aforementioned Jesse, won't say his last name. Rhymes with mensch. And I think he just texted me. We had actually recorded a few just conversations sitting in a diner in Richmond, Virginia. Like he was in town for some time for various reasons, and I lived there at the time. And we just have conversations and hit record and just talk. Anyway, we did a couple of those. He texted me the other day. I don't fucking know when. He texted me at some point after we had done that. We're both fans of the podcasts. And he texted me. He said, "What do you call 3 white men in a room? A podcast." It's good because it's true. It's good because it's true. It's funny. It's a funny joke. Fuck you. I think it's funny. Fuck you. It's funny. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. This is pretty cathartic in some weird way. As you can see, I don't have any plan or agenda or no people or guests to talk to. I'm just talking to myself. And that's cool. Pod number 1. Pod number 1. My last name's Kayrouz. It's a Lebanese name. You spell it Kayrouz. It's a cool last name. I'm aware. Thank you. But my brother used to have a super cool, like, self-made radio show where he worked at a radio station in college, like for the college radio station, and loved it, and just has such a beautiful, like, taste and plethora of music at his disposal that he's just been exposed to, and he knows how to seek out and find and curate. And so it was this super fucking good and awesome, like, radio show that he did. And he did it just for him, and then he'd send it to his friends. That was the point. And he named it Kayrouz Control. And I thought it's such a fucking great name. It's such a great name for one of us with our last name. And it's been probably a decade since he's done it. And I don't think he has any intentions to do it again. And so I'm going to have to ask for permission, and I will. But I think that I've got to revive the name, revive Kayrouz Control. And if I continue to keep this up and this goes anywhere, you'll meet my brother. You'll meet my brother. And maybe we'll have like a couple 2-3 song interlude where I like feature some music or play a song that I'm really into at the time, or I just love in general. Maybe people could be into that. I don't really know how many music podcasts there are out there, or podcasts that like feature. Well, copyright. Never mind. Fucking scratch that. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know if anybody is going to see this or listen to it at all, but Kayrouz Control. This is the inception of the Kayrouz Control podcast. And my intention is just to have a lot of my friends that I love to talk to anyway, and I hang out with anyway. And maybe our conversations can strike a chord or meet somebody where they are, resonate with somebody in some place that they happen to be in life, and maybe they can just get some fucking enjoyment about it. Because I'll be quite honest. And you can call me a fanboy, whatever you want to do, dude. The early days of Rogan's podcast, like 2011, 2012, 2013, up to like 2014. That's when things started to get a bit more serious. And there's a lot more money involved. So I do understand some of the transitions that took place and whatnot. But those early days, those conversations where they're all just fucking high or drunk, and he's just talking to like his best friend. They're just staring into a laptop, really. Or one of his friends, Duncan Trussell or whoever, is just zooming in from their computer at their house. Like, those conversations were the coolest. It's the first time like I heard, and mind you, I'm 19 at the time, freshman year of college, 2011. And it's the first time I'm hearing like actual adults, like they were in their 40s at that time, early 40s probably, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I'm hearing adults talk about like the UFO phenomenon or psychedelics or like ancient civilizations and maybe possibly the connection of all three together. Like the first time I'm hearing like adults that are successful, that have actually like found a way to make a cool career out of the skills and their unique perspectives, like talk about these types of topics. And as a 19-year-old kid, I never heard that from anywhere. I wasn't hearing anybody fucking talk about that stuff. My parents, their parents' friends, any of my other friends' parents, like there was no adult in my life that was talking about these cool fucking concepts that you don't hear about anywhere else. And these people have some, credibility in terms of like, they're not complete psychopaths. Like they are successful in holding it together and like, doing things that are cool and contributing to the world in interesting artistic ways. Like, and I looked up to that. Like I really appreciated that type of person. And it was the first time I got exposed to adults like who presumably had their shit together, talking about these type of topics, uncensored or uninhibited. That's the better word, uninhibited. And I thought that was so fucking awesome. It really it had a big impact on me. I was really impressionable at the time, and had a really big fucking impact on me. So I think that's super cool, and I'd love to be able to, maybe provide that or share that type of feeling with someone else. Not that I am super successful or have made any cool creative impact on the world. I do what I can in my own, my own little piece of reality in consciousness that I inhabit or inhabits me. I'm not sure which way it goes. But I do what I can to do those things. Like I try real hard to be intentional and, creative and honest with myself and produce things that are genuine, that feel good, that I'm inspired by. I think that's how you make good shit. Whether it's music, and maybe down the road I'll plug my own shit and share some of the stuff, but like whether it's music, conversation, visual art, like do what is honest, do what feels good to you, and that will probably feel good to other people, and it'll probably inspire them to do other cool things too. That's what I believe. That's my perspective on that whole process. And whether it's sitting in front of a fucking webcam talking into a microphone to potentially no one ever, or writing a song, or just writing your thoughts down on a piece of paper, or drawing something, like that fucking process of creation feels good. And you don't have to share it with anyone. You don't have to make content to put it on the fucking internet to try to, get views and shit. Like, that doesn't have to be a part of the process. It doesn't have to be the goal either. It's something that I feel like I am interested in doing because I've been extraordinarily called and inspired by other people that have done that. And to speak to music, growing up listening to bands like System of a Down, Mastodon, Deftones, Tool, Radiohead. There's just so many that like just had a fucking huge impact on me. And if they never put their stuff out, I would have never heard it. And I would have never felt the way that I did. I would have never been moved the way that I was by listening to the creation of these people that had the courage and the bravery and the discipline and the fucking grit to stick it out and put in the effort to get this stuff done and put out into the world, share it with the world. And so I'm called to do the same thing in a couple different mediums, music's one, testing out this whole podcast conversation thing. But I like the idea of it, and I think it's healthy, and I think people need to do it. I think people need to do it because we need that as a species. But I don't think it has to be the goal. for everyone. I don't think it has to be the reason to do something creative, the reason to do something of your own and, feel self-actualized or have some practice or outlet that you really love. It doesn't have to be for the sake of putting it out there and sharing it with, strangers. I don't think that needs to be the reason. But I think it's cool when people do it. I do. Well, that's been a bit of a rant. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm just saying shit. Need to drink some water. I created a new voice channel in my Discord server that's just titled Podcast. I haven't told any of my buddies in the server yet about it. So I'm sure once they see me sitting here every so often, maybe once a week, I don't know the schedule, maybe they'll pop in and it'll turn into a conversation. That's the goal. I'm sparking their intrigue because we've been talking about doing this shit together forever and we just fucking haven't. Because we're lazy and undisciplined and unmotivated and uncoordinated a lot of the time. We have a lot of the other stuff. We are creative. We are disciplined in a lot of ways, but unfucking coordinated. So hopefully you just get some, hopefully, you just get some surprise guests every so often within my universe. My nose is itchy. That's my goal anyway. And, maybe that's the whole point of this whole first episode. Just to talk through what the fuck I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, why I'm interested in podcasting, recording a conversation, talking to myself on camera. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Why I'm interested in doing that. What the goal may be to put it out there for other people to listen to, and a bit about where I'm coming from in my background, how I got exposed to this type of stuff, and my interest in, contributing to that cycle, that creative cycle of producing and creating conversations to put out there for other people to listen to. I hope it made sense. I hope you understand maybe a bit more about what the fuck I'm doing and why. I mean, there's probably a lot of questions that are not answered. There's probably a lot for myself that is not answered, and that's okay too. But this feels like a good way to start this fucking thing. Talk about why I care or why I give a shit about a podcast anyway. And what it is that inspires me, why I like them, and why I think it is fun to do it myself. Create some of this content for myself and share it. So this has been pretty cool. Just kind of talking through my own thoughts and feelings that I've had for a long time. I've never really had an outlet or a reason to talk, to kind of articulate all this stuff. I've never had a reason to articulate all of this in one type of structured format. And I've been listening to podcasts for years. I've been thinking about podcasts for years. I've been inspired about podcasts for years. Inspired by podcasts. I've been thinking about starting my own podcast for years, and I've never fucking done it. And to be able to sit here and talk about all the reasons why, or some of the reasons why I love them and why they're meaningful to me and why I'm interested in starting my own. It doesn't even matter what the term is. Podcast, conversation, recorded conversation. Podcast is just easier. Why I'm interested in creating my own. It feels pretty fucking good. It feels pretty fucking good to kind of think through all this stuff and articulate it, get it out, put it out into the universe. Kind of feels like journaling. Like I'm vocally journaling right now. I'm vocally journaling my thoughts out into a recorded canvas, a recorded notebook, if you will. That's cool. Feels good. Feels good. Not gonna lie. Feels good. So, my intention is to follow that feeling and see where it goes. Because what the fuck else am I going to do? What the fuck else am I going to do with my time? Do a bunch of shit I don't want to do? No, I don't want to do that in my free time. I want to do things that I give a shit about and I like doing. That's the point. That's the point of this. One of the points of this. So, that's how I feel. Damn, already 32 minutes in. That really does fly by when you're just kind of on one. Or in the flow. It's cool. It's cool to feel like you're in the flow. Fucking zhoo. Just kind of zhoozhing along in the flow. So. Appreciate anybody who stuck it out to listen to this to the end. Truly. I'm going to do it again. I don't know when. Be the same setup. Maybe a friend or two will pop in. Who knows? But fuck. Good stuff. I'm going to go watch House of the Dragon. I got a couple episodes to catch up on before the new one. I guess it's already released now, but fuck it. I got to catch up on House of the Dragon, all right? So I got a piece. I got a dip. I got to go. Kayrouz Control. I'm going to ask my brother. Don't you fucking worry. I'm going to ask him. But Kayrouz Control. That is the name of the podcast. Kayrouz Control, episode 1. Pod number 1. Complete. Fuck yeah. Cool. This is fun. This is very cool and fun and nice. And I likey. So we're going to keep doing it and put it out there. So thank you. Love you. Good night. Talk to you soon.